Real interesting this past week when Georgia showed its players who were in town their new football facility. And this is an $80 million facility that Georgia has lined up with fundraising and revenues. I couldn't tell you to the penny where every single penny has come from, but the kids were floored. And we wrote about this on dogpost.com. You want to make sure to join our mailing list. Doesn't cost anything. It's an insider mailing list. You can click down below to get it. And guys were blown away. Warren Erickson, John Fitzpatrick, guys like that were very impressed. John, I think it was, I want to make sure I don't get it wrong. I think it was Warren Erickson who said it looked like a spaceship. And again, this is part of an $80 million investment in the football program that has been primarily through fundraising, stuff like the McGill Society and stuff like that. Now, this is a lot of inside baseball. But it will matter a lot in recruiting because, in recruiting, everyone sees the guys on the field. Everyone meets the coaches. And for the last year, no one's been able to go visit the universities, the institutions, the schools. I mean, you can go visit, but you couldn't go into a football program, a football facility. That wouldn't be allowed. Now it is, and now that it is, you've got June coming up, which is going to be one of the biggest recruiting gold rushes we've seen probably in the history of the sport. I don't like being hyperbolic. I think there's plenty enough people in the media that do that. I don't have to do that for them. But this is going to be as big a gold rush as I can remember because there's such pent-up demand right now in the sport, and with no one going to visit anywhere, and with no one being able to visit anywhere, now we're going to see that can Georgia and Kirby, this is a rhetorical question, can Georgia and Kirby take advantage of what is an $80 million facility that the bulk of which is, done? At least the part that recruits are going to care about is done. How will they take advantage of that situation? New locker rooms, a new weight room area, a nutrition area, a sports medicine area. I've covered Georgia since the year 2001. So Mark Richt's first year. This is our 21st year of covering Georgia at Dog Post. And in that time, there have been some incremental facility upgrades. Butts-Mehre knocked out, its original its original structure. The racquetball courts were moved out for a new weight room facility and eventually a new addition to Butts-Mehre. That was 10 years ago. That was seen as a major upgrade for the football facility. This is in the last 5 years. We're going into year 6 of Kirby. Georgia spent north of $170 million on football. $170 million on football, catering to recruiting more than anything else. Now I'm going to use rough numbers here. $60 million or so dollar addition to the west side of Sanford Stadium. I get the directions confused. The bridge side of Sanford, knocking out everything underneath the stands, creating a recruiting facility, recruiting lounge, whatever you want to call it, making the entrance for the kids and the new locker room underneath that part of the stadium. That was well overdue. I mean, the old locker room was just not ideal at all. When we would see, I would see it. We would do interviews and games there. It just was not ideal. Now it's basically state of the art. You look at the indoor facility, the Billy Payne indoor facility. That is something that Mark Richt and company never could quite get done right until they were let go. But that was, I think, $40 million facility. And then now this new redo of Butts, Butts-Mehre building. Everybody calls it the Butts at Georgia. This is taking the part of the football facility that exists and making it better. creating a better facility. Kirby Smart's first year at Georgia, we were riding in buses out to practice in the spring and the fall. So that entire year, they were practicing out in the not intramural fields, but they became intramural fields. I'm not sure what happened, but it was a good 15-minute bus ride, 20-minute bus ride out there. I mean, you're wasting, not a whole hour a day, but some time in your day. That's not what you want. I mean, you want what they've got now. Listen, this is really inside baseball. I don't want you to click off right now, but I've always wondered, why don't they take football and move it out to the intramural fields, have their own layout however they want it, multiple fields, indoor facility, everything all in one space, and then you could take intramurals and put them where they are now, where football is right now, and you'd be fine. But it's they have gone full in. They've got everything right there. It's right across from Stegman. You've got 3 fields. They're not all 100-yard fields. And you also have Sanford, and then you also have you have 3 outdoor fields, which are not all hundreds. You have the indoor facility, which, unless I've gone crazy, is 100. And then you've got Sanford. So you've got, what you need. And now you've got this new space that the guys are raving about. It is a really nice facility. $80 million is an expensive price tag. But in the world of college football, Georgia spent 173 over the last 6 years. I would imagine that they'll spend something like that over the next 10 for sure. Now, what they'll spend it on with football, I don't know, like in terms of facility upgrades and so forth. But you can't let your peers, Alabama, Ohio State, Florida, Clemson, LSU, Auburn, you can't let them outspend you on facilities. And people talk about the facility, arms race. Yeah, I mean, South Carolina has come up a long way in their facilities. That place used to be a total dump. Total dump. They have improved their stuff more than anybody in the league. Kentucky, same thing. Kentucky's football facilities are what I would call nice. They have made Commonwealth nice. I never thought I would say that. You go out to Arkansas, it's nice, man. I mean, Arkansas has some of the best facilities in the SEC. I'm not even talking about Alabama, who has, Bryant Denny has come light years in the last 20 years. It's not even close to what it used to be like. The joke was they didn't used to have running water in that place, but it's nice now. The lights, the spectacle of it all. They do a great job on game days, Alabama. And if you're Georgia, I do think, Clemson spent a bunch of money, and LSU has this lazy pool. I think Clemson has places you can sleep and stuff like that. You've got to continue to do this sort of stuff. When you're on the field at Tennessee, Tennessee is one of the tougher facility challenges in this league. They have made it much nicer at Tennessee than it used to be. It used to be a total disaster there. It's much nicer than it used to be. And there's really this is your business. Your business is the television show that is your football program, and you need it to be as nice as it has to be. And if your donors are willing to pay for it, you should do it. There should be no excuses, and there's no excuses anymore with this $80 million facility that Georgia football players straight up love. We're going to talk about it more on Dog Post. Let's go see you over there.